You know, given what we know now from the IG report, which calls Director Comey insubordinate, it says that we found that it was extremely extraordinary and insubordinate for Comey to conceal his intentions to his superiors. It goes on to say that he usurped the authority of the Attorney General and did not accurately describe the legal position of the department prosecutors, which is pretty strong language there. So, you know, given all this, do you think now, looking back, that the president was right to fire James Comey?
No, absolutely not, Martha. And remember, this president, just weeks before the election, wanted to throw a parade for James Comey. He agreed with James Comey reopening the Clinton investigation. So he has no credibility on this. This report found that there were no crimes by Clinton, no bias at the FBI, and something that we all know, that James Comey is an imperfect man, just like we are all imperfect people, and that he could have done his job better.
Yeah,
this is good for democracy.
Congressman, but when you look back at it, you know, you sort of take a step back from all of this and you look at the memo, and I know that it became complicated, but the memo that Rod Rosenstein wrote said that this investigation of Hillary Clinton was mishandled and that was the reason that James Comey needed to be fired. So, you know, looking back at that, this is now sort of doubles down on James Comey's actions and why it would make sense. I mean, I would imagine if he was still in place now, there'd be a lot of questions about whether or not he needed to be fired.
But that's a fair question, Martha. But do you think that President Trump was lying to Lester Holt? Because he told Lester Holt that he fired James Comey because of the Russia investigation. So if you think he was lying to Lester Holt, then maybe that is the case. I think he was telling the truth to Lester Holt. Don't you?
You know what? He has cited a number of reasons, and you know, we're all very aware of that soundbite, and I agree with you that he absolutely said that. But when you look at Rod Rosenstein's memo and all the reasons that he outlined, it just looks like, you know, the broader government would have to ask that question now, regardless of whether or not James Comey was still in office. Now, with regard to the fact that the 5 FBI agents have now been referred for investigation for bias as a result of this, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, I hate reading the Strzok and Page exchange. That is not how FBI agents should conduct themselves, and I think that they should be referred for an internal investigation, you know, as it relates to their jobs. But there was a finding that it did not affect any investigation actions that they took, nor should it. And, you know, look, I have brothers who are police officers. Boy, do they have strong political opinions. And I just hope and I see in their work that it never affects what they do on the streets. And there's no evidence that any case was affected by what Strzok and Page were doing.
It's very interesting. Just going back to what I mentioned before from the report, that James Comey usurped the authority of the Attorney General and did not accurately describe the legal position of the department prosecutors. And when you go through the language that was changed, and it's believed that it was likely changed by Peter Strzok, you know, when you look at the things that were altered, changing reasonably likely that hostile actors gained access to the email server, that was changed to possible. They also changed that she used private email to communicate with President Obama in hostile territory, to that was a senior official. You know, so when you look at all the softening of that language as it goes through, and then you look at the Strzok Page text message that says, you know, we will find a way to stop it when it comes to a Trump presidency, it doesn't look good.
No, it certainly doesn't look good. But, Martha, if they were out to hurt Donald Trump, why was there never a leak about the intensity of the Russia investigation or the serious contacts that Donald Trump's team had? If they really wanted to destroy Donald Trump, they would not have reopened the Hillary Clinton investigation.
It seems like, in fact, they wanted to keep that under wraps. I just want to bring up one more thing. This is from Peter Strzok, a statement from Peter Strzok through his attorney. And it asked the question about the Hillary Clinton investigation, which, you know, I know Democrats criticized the fact that hers was so public and that the Trump investigation was under wraps. It says there's simply no equivalence between an investigation into the possible mishandling of classified information and credible evidence suggesting that the presidential campaign of a major party candidate was actively colluding with a hostile foreign power in a way that could undermine the integrity of an American presidential election. I mean, he's citing that as if it's fact. At this point, we have no evidence that would support that. But that's why he claims, Peter Strzok claims, that he had to move his attention so firmly over to this other campaign that he clearly did not want to succeed.
Well, Martha, I would disagree. I would say that there is evidence to support what Peter Strzok is saying. There has not been a conclusion, though. Evidence, you know, is not a conclusion. Evidence has to be weighed and tested, and that will bear out through, you know, any future charges that are in addition to the 20 people who are already charged and the guilty pleas we've seen in the investigation. But there's a lot of evidence of collusion, and we'll see, what Bob Mueller brings.
Yeah, we sure will. Thank you very much. Good to see you tonight.
My pleasure.
Congressman Swalwell. Thank you.